Here are 5 pieces of advice that everybody gives about creating content that are absolutely terrible. I don't know why people believe this, but I seem to see these same pieces of advice all over the place. The first one is copy other people's content. So for some reason I see this on TikTok especially. I see all these TikTok gurus that say, find a creator in your niche that's huge, look at their account, see what posts are doing the best, and then say those same things but in your way. Don't copy them exactly, but just take those same topics but put your own spin on it. I guess it makes sense to mine their account for data, but in my opinion, if you copy somebody else, you're only at best going to be second best. You've heard that saying before, being different is better than being better. I totally believe that when it comes to creating content. Don't worry about what somebody else is going to do. You do you. You say your own message in your own voice, with your own stories, with your own personality, and all of a sudden you're going to be the only person running your race. It doesn't matter what race anybody else is running, you're now one of one. So don't copy anybody else, just do your own thing. The second piece of bad advice that I hear is to document the process. Gary Vee always says this. He says, if you have a hard time creating content, just document your journey. And once again, I guess it kind of makes sense on the surface that you don't need to have highly polished content. But the thing is, who wants to have a video guy follow them around all day like Gary Vee does? Or, if you don't have a video guy, who wants to be working and then you stop working and then you get your phone out and you talk about working and you have to get back into working again? It sounds exhausting. I would rather batch my content. So for my clients, we do a 1-hour filming session once a month and they get enough content for every day for the entire month. The key is don't focus on creating content. Focus on creating the machine that creates the content. So if you create one piece of content at a time, no matter if you post once a day or once a week, you're always going to be scrambling to get that last piece of content created. But if you can build a machine, whether that be people, freelancers, systems, frameworks, whatever it is, then all of a sudden you can, like that, you film one piece of content, you put it into your machine, and everything else gets done for you. So don't document the journey, batch your content. The third piece of bad advice that I hear all the time is just talk into your phone. Don't worry about being highly polished. People like more off-the-cuff personal content anyways, so just get your phone, talk into it, and just publish it. Don't even worry about editing it. But there's 2 huge problems with that. The first is that as a viewer, if you're asking me to give you some of my time and my attention, I want you to meet me halfway and put time into the content that you're creating itself. If I don't think that you put time into making it, it shows me that it's not worth my time in return. So we have to have at least some level of quality of our content. And I think that with every passing day, that bar gets higher and higher. We have to create good content. And the second problem is that even creating bad content is really hard. There's a lot of steps of creating content. You have to figure out what you're going to talk about. And you have to film it, get all the lights and camera and microphones set up. You have to speak it into the camera and not take 50 takes. Then you have to edit it and add captions and headlines and thumbnails. Then you have to post it and schedule it. It's a ton of work. So even if you do a bad job, it's still a lot of time. The answer is still, like I said, to create a content machine that systematizes it for you. And if you're going to build a machine, you might as well build a machine to make really good content. The fourth piece of bad advice is pick one platform and go all in. So there's a guy named Dan Bolton. You might have heard me talk about him before. He's a genius. He's like one of my favorite people to follow online. And I hate saying anything negative about him because I've learned so much. But the only thing that I can criticize him about is he says, pick one platform and go all in. But the way I look at it is that the platform isn't what matters, it's the message itself. So your business isn't going to grow because you chose Facebook over Instagram or TikTok over LinkedIn. Your business is going to grow because you're saying the right message to the right person at the right time. And if you do that work, if you do the hard work of narrowing down your messaging and saying the right thing to that person, once that content is done, share it everywhere. Post it on every platform you have because it's free distribution, right? You'd be crazy not to. For my clients, we post to every platform that they want, and it takes them no time whatsoever. They speak on camera to create the content, but then we do all of the publishing for them. So whether we post on one platform or every platform, it's no extra work for them. Like I said, it's free distribution. You'd be crazy not to. And the fifth piece of bad advice is go mass market in order to go viral. So I see so many of these people who talk about how to go viral and they say, we want to share a message that appeals to everybody. So like, for example, I'll see people who are like real estate gurus who are talking about pickup lines. And okay, that might get a lot of people's attention, but if 1 million people watch that video and they're here for a pickup line, then what's going to happen when you switch to talk about real estate? When you get into your offer or your service, they're gone. This is a weird analogy, but when I was in middle school, every Wednesday night I'd go to my friend's youth group. And we had all different activities that we would do. My favorite thing to do was play free-for-all dodgeball. They had this big open room, and they would just have all these dodgeballs out there, and we'd run around, and anybody within arms, within throwing distance was fair game. We'd be hitting each other with these dodgeballs. It was super fun. It was pandemonium. And then at the end, we would switch to talking about Jesus. So this one Wednesday, I'm talking to Scott, the head guy, and I said, Scott, free-for-all dodgeball is so much fun. Why don't we do that every single week? And he said, Garen, the problem is that whatever I do to get you in the door, I have to keep doing to keep you in the door. So if we do fun and games to get you to come in the door, and then we switch to talking about Jesus, you're gone. That's not why you came here, right? And the same applies to content. Sure, you can get a lot of views by talking about pickup lines, but if that doesn't have anything to do with the product or service that you're offering, those are the wrong eyeballs. I would rather niche down and spread a specific message to a specific person that's actually going to want to do business with me. In fact, I've been seeing more and more entrepreneurs lately who have tiny followings, like 2,000, 3,000 people, and they do hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue because they're not trying to get everybody's attention. They're trying to get the attention of people who actually want to do business with them. So don't focus on virality, focus on messaging. So those are the 5 pieces of advice that I see all over the place that I think are absolutely terrible. If you have any that you'd like to share, I'd love it if you leave a comment below. I'd love to hear advice that you've heard that you disagree with. If this was helpful for you, I'd love it if you leave me a thumbs up. And if you'd like more content like this, hit subscribe below. Thanks.